Hey all, this is Jess. Welcome back to Sunflower Dairy. So I have quite a few seeds to start today. I'm going to be starting Snapdragon flowers in soil blocks, and I'm going to be starting onions and shallots in little flower pots. So let's get going. So I want to talk to you a little bit about snapdragons, especially if you're going to be growing snapdragons for cut flowers and bouquets. What I'm about to tell you is a lot of information that will help you kind of figure out what kind of snapdragons you want to grow. So all these varieties here are the nice tall stemmed snapdragons. They are perfect for cut flowers. Now there are little short snapdragons that people grow in flower pots, but that's not what you want if you're going to be doing cut flowers. You want the tall cut flower varieties. So that being said, that you want the tall cut flower varieties, there are 4 different kinds of the tall cut flower varieties. So there is Snapdragon Group 1, which that snapdragon likes lower daylight and it likes cooler temperatures. There's a Group 2 that also likes cooler temperatures, but it likes starting to get that longer daylight, and those usually start blooming in early spring. There's a Group 3 that usually starts blooming in mid-summer. And then there's a Group 4 which starts blooming later in the summer towards fall. So kind of thinking about the different groupings and when you actually want your snapdragons to bloom, that's a good way to pick out your snapdragon varieties. Now, if you want to have snapdragons blooming all season long, I suggest planting some of all of these varieties from all of these groups. And then you'll have different snapdragon plants blooming in different parts of the season. Alright, so I'm going to be soil blocking for my snapdragons. So you want a soil blocker, you want seed soil, and you want your tray for your soil blocks. So you want to pre-soak your seed starting soil, especially when you're doing soil blocks, because you want your seed starting soil to be able to stick together. That's what's going to build the good foundation for your soil blocks. So I've already pre-done that. So now you just get your soil blocks built up in your soil blocker. Once you have it all filled, I just even it off. And you just squeeze and wiggle them out. Alright, I just got all my soil blocks done, so let's go ahead and seed these. Alright, so in these soil blocks here, I'm going to be seeding the butterfly snaps, the chantellies, and rocket, and the tall snapdragon. So all of these ones are ones from different groups, so I'm going to be getting different blooms in different times from all of these. And I also have a ton more different kinds of snapdragons from other groups that I'm going to be seeing as well, but this is a good representation of the different kinds and groupings you can do. Okay, so snapdragon seeds are very small, so I recommend when seeding them that you use a little dish to put your seeds in. You're going to use something pointy, either like a toothpick or you can use a nail, but something that has a little point on it. Then you're going to want a little cup of water to dump your toothpick or nail or whatever you have to pick up your little seeds, and then you're just going to gently drop your seeds into the soil blocks. So we're just going to stick our pointy object into the water. We're going to get one of the seeds and we're going to go ahead and put it right in the soil block. We're just going to keep doing that. Now you can put more than one seed in each soil block, but you're going to build bigger, stronger plants if you only have one seedling growing in each soil block. But if you're scared you're not going to have good germination, you can always do 2 or 3 seeds in each soil block, and then later on, if you want to remove the extra plants out of the soil block so that they're not taking all the room away from your main plant, you can do that. So you have a couple different options. Alright, so the first variety I did was the white chantilly variety, and I will not cover these because light actually aids germination for snapdragons because they are such a small seed. So these need light. So literally after we get the rest of this tray seeded, we're just going to spritz them in. We're going to create a heat dome with plastic wrap, and then we're going to just put them in our seed starting room. I'm going to go ahead and get the rest of this tray seeded. Alright, we have all of these seeded. Like I said, don't cover these because the light aids germination for these small snapdragon seeds. So we're literally just going to spritz them in. We're going to put a humidity dome on here and put them in the grow room. So I'm just making a little stand with flower wire to keep our humidity dome standing up. So literally just something simple like that. You can just set it on here on your tray on your soil blocks, and it will help keep that humidity dome plastic wrap propped up. Alright, so now literally just putting plastic wrap over these seedlings and calling it good. Right, so we have that little humidity dome made. See how when you put the little stand in there, it just helps prop it up. So this is nice because then your plastic wrap is not sitting flat on your soil blocks, which means it's not pressing down on the seedlings as they're starting to germinate, because sometimes if you go to take your plastic wrap off, if your seedlings have not sent down their roots yet into the soil blocks, sometimes your seedlings that are started to sprout that are still seeds will stick to your plastic wrap, and you don't want that to happen because then your seedlings are going to get lost when you take your plastic wrap off and you're going to be like, I have no plants, what in the world? Alright, so these are going in the grow room, and we're going to go start some onions and shallots. Alright, so I have a couple different varieties of onions and shallots. I like to plant them in these little containers because with onions and shallots you can just put a bunch of seeds in one container, and they have those wiry roots, so it's easy to take them apart and then you can just transplant them out, so they don't really mind being planted together and then separating them when it's time to plant. And I'm literally just going to be filling these with dirt. Alright, we're just going to go ahead and spritz that soil. And then we're literally just going to go ahead and sprinkle our seeds on top. So, like I said, don't be scared of putting a generous amount of seeds on your flower pie. Alright, so literally just sprinkling them on top. Really no rhyme or reason for this, just basically putting them in there. Now, onions and shallots do like to be covered, so we're just going to sprinkle a little bit of soil on top. And then we're just going to go ahead and spritz them in. Alright, and these will literally just go in the grow room under the grow lights, and you will have onions very soon. So I just wanted to talk about onions real quick. So there's different kinds of onions. There's long day onions and there's short day onions. So depending on where you live, if you live in a place where you have long daylight hours or short daylight hours, that's going to determine what kind of onion you want to plant. Alright, I'm going to go get our started seeds and put them into the grow room. Thanks all for coming along with me and starting some seeds. Thanks for watching. Have a blessed day.